Well, welcome along to the Timeform Sporting Life weekend preview. We've got these crossed. Fingers crossed that we're previewing the Covell Gold Cup at Newbury. I can confirm we're definitely doing that, but the fingers are crossing that they hope they can stage it at Newbury. A cold night forecast down there. It's been dramatic day all round. We've got a 4-1 favourite for the Sky Bet Supreme after winning a maiden hurdle at 4-11 on the track. Newcastle inspecting as we record for the Fighting Fifth card. So we're going to concentrate with Matt Brocklebank and Kevin Clark on the big betting race at Newbury, the Covell Gold Cup, the artist formerly known as the Hennessy Gold Cup. I'm going to pull up the Timeform ratings for starters, and a bit of a shock when you see what's top of the shop in the Timeform ratings. It's That's Alright Gino, 181, £2 clear of Complete Unknown, who's been a long time favourite for this for Paul Nicholls and is up towards the head of the market now. Potential improver there with a P for Monbeg Genius, a 178p, 177 cross for. It's denoting he can make mistakes, and he can. That's Ahoy Senor, Stolen Silver, Garlaw, Cloudy Glen, and Remastered with a question mark, all there on 177. Look, this is really competitive. Well, let's go through some of the leading contenders. Kieran, I'm going to start with you. Complete Unknown for Paul Nicholls. We've got video footage of Complete Unknown. It's him running at Aintree behind Jerry Colomb. This is the one piece of form he's got away from really testing ground.
Yeah, he made giant strides last year as...
Just identify him here on the screen as well, Kevin.
As a novice, yeah, he's there on the left in the red colours in fourth there. Now, I do think he found things happening just a little bit too quick for him at Aintree. Jerry Colomb, obviously one of the favourites of the Gold Cup, in it. He was different class this day to the rest of them. That's Bron in the green colours there. He'd ran quite well behind Jerry Colomb at Cheltenham. So this is proper Grade 1 novice form. You expect second season chasers to come to the fore in the Hennessy, and he certainly fits the bill. The potential drying ground would be a slight concern. He does look an out and out stayer. I've always thought of him as a type for something like the Welsh National, but you see here he does stay on. He's not in the winners class, but he rallies all the way to the line. I think the trip's ideal for him. This is going to be a real well-run race over 3¼ miles. If he's a prominent racer, and if he can lay up with them, he's got a serious chance. You know, he proved his well-being at Newton Abbot when he won a 3-runner race on his reappearance. Rule out Nicholls that he perilled the form he's in at the minute. I just think he might be worth taking on. I think he might be better with a bit more giving the ground, and given that he's vying for favouritism, I might look silly come 3 o'clock, but I'm going to take him on.
Well, we're going to talk Mahler Mission now. That very seat on Get Stuck In, season opener, Martin Dixon put him up as a lively potential Gold Cup outsider. For that to happen, he needs to run really well here. We've got video footage of Mahler Mission 2. This is finishing sector Thunder Rock on his Carlisle reappearance, a clear pipe opener for this.
Without question, and I think that Colin Parker Memorial Intermediate Chase has been used as a good pipe opener for not only this race, but the Paddy Power Gold Cup as well at Cheltenham and a few others.
He's in front here.
He's in front. They tried to use his stamina this day. Obviously a proven stayer. He was going really well. If you think back to Cheltenham and the National Hunt Chase, he was going really well still, possibly just starting to tire when putting in a short step. You think he'd have won. I think Patrick Mullins might have nailed him right on the line, even if he'd stood up. But he came down 2 out at Cheltenham, and this was him just possibly a combination of being outdone by Thunder Rock, who had a little bit more natural pace here, and the lack of a recent run. But he's had a good workout here in second. It's not like he's been really softly ridden or anything. It was a good, solid performance, I think, and the first run back for the season. If you look back to last season, he won. He took a couple of goes to really find his stride, and he won then, and his form took off. Now, interestingly, if you go back far enough, his form does actually tie in with Complete Unknown, and it was one of those moments, Dave, I was there moment. Oh. I was there at Perth in April 2022 when Complete Unknown was second to Mahler Mission, and it was a fascinating race. Gallia did Lito and the Goffer, and Famous Bridge was in the race as well. It's thrown up about 10 winners of nice races. That was a little novice hurdle. Mahler Mission actually gave Complete Unknown £3 that day and beat him. So he's in on a good mark, I think. A really good mark. Slight question over John McConnell's yard. I mean, he's a trainer that seems to have a really good record in Britain when he brings them over to like the Cheltenham meeting in October and November, and it just hasn't really taken off for him so far this season, on home soil at least, on the flat and jumps. So little question mark there, especially now we're talking about one of the market leaders for a big Saturday race.
Talk about races that work out well, Kieran. Let's watch Monbeg Genius in action in the Ultima Chase at Cheltenham in March. Here he is finishing third to Corach Rambler and Fast or Slow. That's not bad for a piece of form, is it?
Yeah, one of the strongest pieces of form, of handicap form on offer last year. And Fast or slow is one of them horses, isn't he? You know, how's he got beat in this? How did he get beat in the Coral Cup the year before? But yeah, you see him here at Monbeg Genius. He's on the inside there in the red cap.
Very similar sills, aren't they?
Yeah, to the Gopher, yeah. Red caps everywhere in the finish, but he just briefly leads there, I think, and he looked like he had every chance. Correct Ramber obviously cuts through them, but you know, finishing third to a Grand National winner and a dual Grade 1 winner, there's, you know, he could be potentially thrown in off 147. There is a couple of negatives though. I thought he'd win the Scottish National, and they didn't run him because of the good grounds. Now this is obviously December, not spring good grounds, so I don't think that'd be too much of an issue, but it is just something worth bearing in mind. But the key point is his reappearance at Ascot in the race won by one of Venetia Williams's, which most races seem to have won by one of hers recently, don't they? It was just a bit lifeless. He made a really bad mistake, and he ended up pulling up. Now, he might have just been ring rusty. He might have needed the outing, but I would have liked to seen a bit more from him. But I think of those towards the head of the betting, he's the one that still could be potentially £10 potentially well in. 15-2 though, with on the back of that run. If he'd have run a really nice sort of 5th or 6th, I'd be all over him. I just think the way he ran on that reappearance, again, it's just putting the doubts in my mind to be against him as well.
Money of late, Matt, in the week of the race for Stumptown, for the Gavin Cornwell team. We've got footage of him at the Cheltenham Festival last season, finished second in the Kim Muir. Do you understand the market confidence behind him?
I love this horse, Dave. Yeah, I do. In fact, he's one of those, he's in the green and yellow silks, just switching to the inside there on the far side now. He ran really well this day, I thought, in the Kim Muir. It was nearly a well-hatched plan, wasn't it? Because they brought him over to Sandown to win in February. Prior to that, bolted up that day, obviously just to try and get him up the weights and into this race. He's still such a young horse. He's only a 6-year-old, and he was really likely race going into this, and he's put up a really brave effort, I thought. And I really like the way that they've campaigned him since then. Just this time around, this season, they've given him 2 runs this autumn, really getting the more experience into him at tracks. He's run at Galway and he's run at Listowel, and you just think about the nature of those races. It can be mad at Galway, and it really is frantic round there. And Listowel's sharp and tough, and it was a big field, and it was just a really good plan, I think, to get more experience into him. He wasn't disgraced at all the last day in the Kerry National. He made a few jumping mistakes, but trainer Gavin Cromwell, who he's a fantastic trainer, obviously trained Melina Girl to win at Cheltenham just last month. He's had 5 winners from 17 runners in Britain through October and November, and Cromwell is on record saying that he thinks that the fences in England just being that little bit easier really help and suit this horse. And you just look at his record, he's come over and won at Sandown and finished a good second there at Cheltenham. I do think there's so much more improvement to come from him. Look, he's up in the weights a little bit. He ran off 135 at the festival and runs off 143 here, but as I say, he's only a 6-year-old. I love that they've got that bit more experience into him, and he's just got a touch of class. If you think about the Listowel race, the third from that, it's working out. I think it's generally a race that works out. Foxy Jacks was third that day, and he's come out and won the handicap at Cheltenham over the banks there. And I really like the booking of Danny Mullins this weekend as well. Danny in fantastic form in the week, and he's ridden him twice before, winning once as well, and then in the prep run. So yeah, big fan of this horse, Stumptown.
Is it a tip?
Yeah, Stumptown will be number 1. I'd have to mention Twig as well. I think that horse has just become an absolute revelation for Ben Pauling, and he was second to one of Henry de Bromhead's just the other week at Cheltenham. Waka Clan, yeah. And you thought he's came there to win. He travelled really sweetly, jumped nicely, and I just wonder if that gap between winning the Summer Cup at Uttoxeter in September and Cheltenham just caught him out at the end. So if he is able to improve on that, I thought Twig has a fantastic chance. He was 25-1 midweek, not that anymore, so I'll have to weigh that up closer to the time.
Kevin?
I think in terms of preparation, Mahler Mission had the perfect prep, didn't he, as Matt said, but the trainer forms put me off that as well. So I'm going to take a chance with Midnight River. I was at Wetherby when he ran in the Charlie Hall, and it seemed like that was a means to an end. He let sort of Braveman's Game and Gentleman's Game get on with it, Harry Skelton, and he just kind of held him up, and he got left behind, but he shaped as if he was better for the run. And I really like when he won at Aintree over 3 mile 1, he rode in positively. He was a strong traveller. This is a little bit further, so he does have stamina to prove, but he progressed through the ranks last year. He's going to give you a run for your money, about 10-1. I think Monbeg Genius could be the one that really progresses through the ranks. He's probably still a well-handicapped horse, but on the day, I think Skelton might have targeted this Midnight
They
River.
put him in the King George as well, haven't they? They've clearly got such high hopes for...
Yeah, and Kempton will suit him, to be fair. You know, I could see him running a big race to a point in that race. But, yeah, he ran all right at a big handicap at Cheltenham. He goes well at Cheltenham, but... yeah, I'm going to take a chance on Midnight.
And a Hoy Senior at the top obviously means that he carries 11 stone 1 instead of 11 stone 12.
Yeah, and Hoy Senior has obviously been here once and was deadly impressive as a novice in the John Frankham. Obviously, that form didn't really work out. Mr. Incredible was second, and he was probably not a reformed character by that point. The fences will probably get in his way, Hoy Senior. He wasn't fit at Wetherby, but the jumping is the concern for him. So, yeah... Midnight River, but I think the second season novices are to be feared.
30 seconds each. Matt, in 30 seconds, one other bet for Saturday.
Yeah, North Lodge for me. This is the 140, the handicap hurdle over 2.5 miles. Now, two fascinating horses in here. This one and Jet Powered, who are both coming back from a long layoff, but I do think a mark of 142 vastly underestimates this North Lodge. Alan King's horse is second in a Kelso Grade 2. On his penultimate start a while ago now, but I just don't think it's an issue anymore coming back from a long layoff. I think he has the potential to blow this race apart.
Oh, blow the way, that's what you'd like to hear. Kevin?
Yeah, getting out stakes. Last race at Newbury, Nigel Twiston-Davies as a novice chaser called Master Chewy. I was at Aintree when he made a really impressive chasing debut. He then went back there last time and they took all the fences out in the straight because of the low sun. That probably was detrimental to his chances. He was only touched off close on by one of Venetia's, who's won again since on Friday at Newbury. Yes, he's going to be a short price favourite, but we could be potentially talking about an Arkle horse here running off 137. So GSI, Master Chewy last at Newbury.
GSI, Master Chewy last at Newbury. Fingers crossed there's good news early Saturday morning from the Berkshire track and then we get the green light for a fantastic day's racing. We will be back next weekend to look ahead to Sandown and the Tingle Creek and the return to action of John Bon and who knows what else might be added to that card. So best of luck with your own weekend wagers and as I say, fingers crossed we get to see what promises to be a really competitive Covell Gold Cup at Newbury.